Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto, the podcast about catching up and first impressions of the anime Boruto. Better late than never, that's our ninja way. Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Boruto. My name's Johnny.
I'm Trey.
What's up, guys? So, today is a good day because we realized that we actually have someone who left a comment with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we accidentally missed you last time. So stay tuned to the end, and we will read that review. It's actually a long review, and it's like super nice.
Yeah, it really is. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it gave me some encouragement. So we'll do that for you guys at the end of this episode. Yeah, so if you leave a 5-star Apple review on Apple Podcasts, we'll shout you out with whatever you comment.
But you got to write it out in there, too.
Yeah, you got to write it out.
It doesn't give us your name if you don't do that.
Yeah, that's what we realized. That was our fault. But anyways, we're going to talk about episode 12 of Boruto.
Boruto and Mitsuki.
Yes. I remember to actually write it this time because I've always wanted to make sure we do that. And I'm delaying until I got this pad here. Here we go.
Boruto Uzumaki has arrived on the scene, you know?
All right. Boruto, episode 12. So, it starts out with... Actually, Trey, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty
good. I kind
of
rushed right into that, talked about the Apple review stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm doing pretty good, you know. I'm just living life, doing some internship stuff, getting through this last semester of school, and getting ready to move on with some big things in life, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, good. I posted on Instagram. My wife told me that we've only been posting and I don't really know Instagram that well. Like, I'm not like a pro at it. I just post random things. But she let me know
we're not Instagram influencers.
No, we're not. Maybe we will be, but we'll do it our way.
Yeah,
our ninja way. Yeah.
There we go.
Anyways, so she actually told me that we have like all the same picture from all our titles. And I just go through the episode, and when we're doing like some random look or hand gesture, I just capture it, throw it into the title. So 3, 2, 1, make a face. That'll be the title. And
I was not planned at all. I'm glad I rolled with that.
Yep. I didn't even plan to do that. I was just like, might as well. So I was like, well, she said, you need to just post some different pictures, to just look different a little bit. So I went out. I thought
the different shirts just made us stand out.
Yeah, that's why.
Actually, this legitimately might be the same shirt I wore last week. It legitimately is because I've been wearing the same 5 shirts for my work stuff, and I've been like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I'm pretty sure this is the exact same shirt.
It's all good. But anyways,
that's funny.
So I was like, okay, well, I was at a store, and I was just randomly looking through things, and I found a actual set of a nice ramen bowl with chopsticks for it. Then I was like, you know what? I can make food. And so I looked up a recipe for some kind of ramen, actual good ramen, and made it. And it had chicken, eggs, all the stuffs. And then I posted on Instagram. So feel free to go and if you like that kind of stuff, we'll do a little bit more of that.
See, now what we got to do is really up the game, because you like to do your homemade bread.
Yeah.
You like to do that pizza. Courtney's got a little thing for homemade pasta where you can make the noodles yourself.
If we could make our own ramen, that would be epic.
We just got to follow that old Naruto episode about making the ramen perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually almost had 2 sets of ramen here and made us eat during this episode, but I realized I didn't give Trey any heads up, and he watches what he eats more than I do.
As I'm drinking a soda.
Well, I think when you let go, you let go more than me, because I just eat the same stuff. But then you will have eat really healthy for a long period of time. I haven't changed weight for 5 years, so
fair enough.
That shows you that I don't try. Anyways, I just want to give a little bit of personality before we start the episode. But episode 12, Boruto and Mitsuki, and this is a really good episode.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it gives us not a lot happens, but we learn a lot. That's what I felt like. It filled in a little bit of holes.
There were a
that
couple
we
little
have.
twists, and you didn't confirm things, but it
It
confirmed
pretty
things
much
without
confirmed
confirmed things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like how they did too. It didn't like write it on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few good things. So let's just go ahead and get started. So at the beginning, Mitsuki is looking at the moon again. You know, here we go. He's looking at the moon, and he has this white snake again. But I just wrote down this little quote here, and he's saying to the snake, I'm guessing the snake is some kind of communication jutsu or something. Something's going on. That'd be weird if he's just talking to this little pet snake that is pale, and we obviously know.
I'm assuming it's kind of like one of those little toads that like Naruto,
right?
One of the dogs that Kakashi Sensei could summon, and then like it would disappear and probably go talk to the other one if you need to. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Granted, I haven't seen it poof away, but you know,
that is true. Maybe it slithers away, then poofs.
It could be.
Yeah, because that would be like.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't like to poof in front of people.
Nah, same here. But anyway, so he says to the snake, which is probably someone else, "You're right as expected. It was the heirloom left by the foundation, Gozu Tennu." And then, yeah, so you're right as expected. It was the heirloom left by the foundation, Gozu Tenzu. And then I think he said, who's using it? I forgot why I wrote that part down.
I'd be like, what heirloom is it and what's it being used for? Maybe?
Yeah.
I mean,
like the only thing I have seen Mitsuki do sneakily is what just happened last episode. Mm-hmm. So last episode, he could have stopped the person that's been causing all this stuff in the sewers, basically ambushed them, and then person's like, oh, he's not going to do anything, and just slowly backs away into the shadows. So I'm guessing that's what he's talking about.
I don't think so.
You're right as expected. It was the heirloom left by the foundation. So
that kind of gives us
symbol.
It confirms that there's something to do with the
like
foundation.
A necklace or
too.
something. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm
trying to think of like
because you didn't see
heirloom
anything.
and everything going on.
I didn't see anything specifically like that happened last episode that would make you like see something specifically, or like I don't know if the whoever was controlling it like was holding something. I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything, and it was coming out of like a sleeve, right?
Yeah.
When he was, so maybe they're like holding something, like, and maybe it's been the thing that's absorbing chakra.
Could be.
That kind of makes sense. I don't know. This
All
is the
just
part
thought
we don't
processes.
know yet. We talked about in the beginning. We figure out a few things. This is not one of the things. But yeah, so like, yeah, who's using it? We don't know. But it seems like, he's actually taking orders. So Mitsuki is taking orders from somebody.
Which kind of flashes back to that thing where I said I started to not trust him so much.
Yep.
And I was like, I wanted to trust him from the beginning, that when he came in, I kind of had that weird suspicion from the beginning, and I was like, oh no, I like him, he's a good guy. And now I'm back to Mitsuki might be a bad guy.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking because, well, the weird thing is he's obviously not. It seems like he's not on the same side, like exactly as this person that's causing all this chaos.
It's almost like he's just like an observer of someone who wants chaos to happen.
Yeah. And if it is Orochimaru, then I could get how he could maybe want like a new technology or something, and then he'll swoop in and get it.
Could be.
And here's Mitsuki the spy. He's seeming kind of like a spy right now. He's not really doing too much. He's like observing.
He jumps in when he has to, or when he like somehow feels obligated, because it seems like as we get further in the episode, we kind of like Boruto, or we've seen previously, Boruto seems to be like rubbing off on him a little bit.
Right.
So it's like,
so maybe he's not supposed to have a connection with Boruto, and he's kind of like, getting a connection with Boruto. I don't know. But at the same time,
but then again, if he's supposed to be the sun to the moon,
right? Yeah. So I don't know what's 100% going on. I think we figure out by the end. We can assume, but
yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, then we just see this random flash where Mitsuki's in a test tube, and then someone's walking towards the glass, and he puts like his hands on the glass, and it just goes away. Thanks. And then I'm already thinking right there, like, test tube, we've seen this kind of stuff before. I'm thinking it would be Orochimaru. Kind of looks like the shadow.
Yeah.
Later in the episode, I think we get a better view of that.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, then skips to the next morning. Trey, take it away.
All right. So we jump into the students are all in class again, except they're outside. They're doing the obstacle course, and you see a couple of teams, not really any characters that we see. They're going through. They're trying to finish it. They basically looks like they have like a time limit to finish the obstacle course. So they're in 3-man teams, like all Genin would be in training. And so we have Boruto, Mitsuki, and Denki, which is kind of fun. Like, I mean, we kind of saw Denki a little bit last episode, but we haven't really seen much of him in a while. So I'm kind of glad that he was popping back up again. But he didn't last very long in this episode.
Nope.
I was like, okay, cool, we got Denki back, and he was like, that was quick. But anyway, as they're going, you see Denki falling behind, and Boruto and Mitsuki mostly Boruto is pretty much encouraging him, just be like, hey, you're doing really well, like. You're actually making some improvements. Denki kind of just responds like, well, I can't have no skills forever, so I got to do something, right? So it looks like he's actually working to improve his ninjutsu.
He's trying not to be just the computer boy.
Yeah. He's trying to get somewhere. So, once we get to he's actually doing really well. They have plenty of time left in the obstacle course. They get to the last one, which is like this big, giant wooden wall / rock wall that they have to climb up. And Boruto and Mitsuki get up there. It's like, this is nothing for them. Denki goes up. He starts off really well and then just falls from the very top and gets nowhere. And at the time, he kind of sits there. He's like, you know what? You guys just go ahead. You finish the obstacle course, and there's no problem. Just leave me behind. Boruto, of course, being Boruto, was like, no, we can't do that. So he creates some shadow clones to try to help him out. They go down there, try to launch him up, and he still fails and falls off. And this is kind of where you see Mitsuki, where you see Boruto kind of start rubbing off on Mitsuki a little bit. As he's falling, he does his very similar to Orochimaru hand reach. And catch him and pull him back up. So when we get a little flashback of, Mitsuki is similar to Orochimaru, but Orochimaru wouldn't do that. So I don't know what's happening here. But anyway, he gets up there, but as soon as they get to the top, the alarm goes off and they fail. They don't pass the mission. But they're kind of like, he's like kind of like, that sucks. That's no good. But Boruto's kind of cool. He's like, we'll get it next time. It's no big deal. And then the sensei comes up and, all the teams are kind of talking. One of them comes up and goes and talks to Boruto and Mitsuki, and he's like, next time you can just join us. You're never going to pass if you have Denki on your team. Pretty much just putting him down like, he's no good.
Right in front of him, too.
Yeah, he's like, he had no shame.
Right and we don't even know who this kid is.
No. And they're just kind of like, no, we wouldn't do that. But then all of a sudden, we got Chino Sensei pops up, and he pretty much goes, congratulations, you all failed. Yep. Nobody passed, even though a bunch of them finished in the time limit. And it was because they all had one team member at least fall behind, and they just abandoned them. So we learned you can't abandon one of your team. Like, you can't do that. No member gets left behind.
Yeah,
come on.
That was the third Hokage's thing, right? Where he said like it's part of like the will of fire or something. Where like
vaguely remember
something
that.
about and then Kakashi's whole thing rubbed off on Kakashi, where it's like people who like leave their friends behind are worse than scum or something.
Yep.
I forget that, but anyway, so then. Right after that, they go ahead and leave, and then Shikadai's and the boys are talking, and they're basically saying that they're getting close to the ghost and the ninja. Mm-hmm. This whole thing going on. They almost had him, but even though they had him, it still got away, and that's when they're not going to be able to replicate that. If it's already watching them, now it's like we're really watching them. But they did actually say though that. Well, I think, Denki said, it seems like they're getting desperate. Like, this ninja is getting desperate. And that's kind of what we talked about at the end of last time. Well, not at the end, but just the last episode. Like, it's almost to its goal, whatever that weird diamond, triangle. I guess it's not triangle, it's 4. But, like, a diamond shape. It's almost has these, like, little triangles all the way around. Which we're guessing that's when something bad's going to happen. So it's almost there, but, more than ever, it's being watched. And, like, it had to resort to, like, going where Boruto wasn't and the others. And they still caught it. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, getting really desperate.
Say, now what do I do? Like, how am I
Yep.
gonna handle it?
Whoever this ninja is. So they're definitely getting desperate. So we kind of thought that's what was happening last time, and this kind of confirms it. But then, so they're kind of talking, but then, of course, Boruto gets hungry and says that he has to hurry up and go before the fried noodle buns runs out because it's after class. And then Mitsuki was actually trying to understand why he saved Denki. He was kind of talking with Shikadai, like, it would make sense in a real mission to keep going, right? So you accomplish the mission. And then he was like, so why did I save Denki? And then Shikadai and Mitsuki kind of look at Boruto run off, and they said, like, oh, he's rubbing off on you too, right? AKA, like, the mission doesn't matter. Your teammates matter first with the mission. Like, you're not going to accomplish the mission if you leave your teammates behind. So we kind of got that whole vibe there. And then, then you see these teachers kind of start meeting, and it's Shino, Konohamaru. I totally forgot this other
I don't
girl's
remember her
name.
name. She was the one
She was
that
barely in it.
she
Super
always
annoying.
she always followed Konohamaru around when they were younger.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't ever remember hearing her name, honestly.
Yeah. And then speaking of Konohamaru, I have to do this plug.
Time out! I'm sorry, big brother Konohamaru.
I mean, when you got a soundbite, you got to use it, right?
Might as well.
That did rhyme. Wow. But anyways, so they're kind of talking about, some of the different ninja and all that. And then they quickly move on to Boruto, and Konohamaru is actually bragging on Konohamaru like he's the pride of the 7th Hokage. And, and then someone else tries to say like, oh yeah, he's also, well, they say like he's the nucleus of the class. Like he brings the class together. He's, kind of getting rid of all this separation. Cause I mean, Iwabe, was a bully. Now he's not. Then Denki was like not even going to be a part of it. Now he is. And so he's kind of like gluing everyone together. So they're saying like he's the nucleus of the class. But then quickly, I forgot this female ninja says that he's also the nucleus of all the trouble too. So
Very much so.
he gets everyone in the trouble, and he's always the root of the trouble. And then Konohamaru is kind of like trying to stick up for him. And, he says, like, Lord Seventh has entrusted me with Boruto kind of thing. But,
Well, we know he hasn't been taking care of himself, so.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Oof. Oof. But, yeah. So then, anyways, go ahead.
All right, so then we kind of move on. We come back to Iwabe, who, again, we haven't really seen a whole lot of him recently either. But he's trying to study to pass his, the actual... He always does fine in the ninjutsu, so it's the like arithmetic and the other stuff that they're having to learn in the new academy that he always struggles with. So he's not doing too well. So Mitsuki goes up and talks to Iwabe and kind of just like starts talking to him a little bit about it, but he's pretty much didn't really try to help him so much as just kind of like, oh, you're struggling, right?
Yeah,
that sucks.
Boruto is like
for
trying
you.
to help him, like, oh yeah, well just put this in the equation or something like that.
Yep.
And then Mitsuki's like, so he's like watching Boruto and like, I'm gonna do that too. And he basically like
Just puts him down.
puts him down without knowing it.
He's just kind of like that awkward moment. Like he's
Very
thinks-
innocent, but then at the same time lets bad guys go. So I don't know what's going on.
Like, yeah, he's a little strange there. But in the end, like Inogen pops up and I can't remember, was he talking to Mitsuki? He was talking to Mitsuki, right? Yeah, he was talking to Mitsuki. And he says, he kind of talks about how everyone gravitates towards Boruto because he's an idiot. He doesn't care about people's opinions. And he's kind of just like, the idea you just said, or kind of threw Mitsuki off when Inogen called him an idiot. And he's kind of like, what? He's not dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he kind of makes the dumb choices sometimes, and he's the one that kind of goes back to exactly what the professor or the teachers were talking about. Like, he's an idiot because he causes the problems. He cares about people, but because he cares about people, he makes decisions that cause problems for everybody.
Yeah, and because Inogen was like, you've taken a liking to Boruto, and he's like, yeah, he's fun to be around, right? And he was like, well, he's an idiot.
Pretty much.
but
Very blunt.
Yeah, tries to basically say, bring it back by saying like, but people like him, because even though he's the Hokage's son, he like throws that away and doesn't care about what other people think. So,
And he wants everyone to be kind of like be themselves and do
Right.
their own thing kind of situation. Yep. But then he kind of talks about like, everyone likes him, but he must really stress out the class rep. It's kind of like the one that he really kind of targets, and that kind of like gets Mitsuki's attention. She's like, wait, what? The class rep? Like, what's going on with her? Like, does he really like? Does she not like him because of all the stuff that he does or causes? And so his next visit is he wants to go talk to the class rep.
Yep.
So she's still in the hospital, and he just awkwardly shows up by himself, and I think that threw her off a little bit. She's like, "Oh, you're here, alone. Okay, great." So and he asked her how she feels about Boruto, and I was like, at first I'd be like, if I was in her position, that'd be like really awkward. Like, is he like asking her like, are you in love with Boruto? Like, is he about to confess his love for her or something like that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what immediately popped through my head. Obviously, I knew he wasn't going to do that, but I was like, and if I was in her shoes, that's probably what I would think would be going on right there.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yep. It's kind of just a really strange way.
And he's just kind of going around asking everyone how they feel about Boruto at this point. So, yeah,
it's a little weird, but he kind of just they kind of start talking a little bit, and she kind of just like, I don't really know. He's like, he doesn't make me miserable or make me too stressed out. She's like, yeah, occasionally he does stuff and it can cause a little bit of stress, but she's like, it's fun to be around Boruto.
Yeah.
I like him. And they kind of start talking a little bit about it, and, talking about their families and all that stuff. And we end up kind of learning a little bit more about the class rep, which is that her family all has passed away at this point. So she's an orphan for the most part.
Yeah.
Which kind of flash, or at that moment, I kind of like flashback a little bit to like Naruto.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what he was in the community, except, she's accepted and he was not.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm sure he wouldn't have allowed her to not be accepted in the community just because of what happened with him and all that stuff. So I kind of wondered like if maybe there was some kind of backstory with the way Naruto maybe trying to take care of like any of the orphans in the village. There's nothing that indicated that, but I was just curious about it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something.
That'd be different. And I know there's like that big orphanage that, what's his name? Runs, I can see his face.
Not Key, but starts with a K, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does start with a K.
Man.
Dang, there's the one.
Yep.
I was like, I
Every
wrote all the
time.
names down, and then we sidetracked a second.
The very beginning. Darn it. Maybe it'll flash back to us.
I forget.
Anyways, the guy that tries to imitate Orochimaru all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, and then so I thought it was interesting when she asked, "Do you have family?" to Mitsuki, and he was like, "As far as I know." What kind of answer is that?
It's like maybe.
I guess. Yeah.
Like, do you understand what a family is? Like,
yeah, that's where like this whole like he doesn't understand most things, especially like interacting with people, and he's like, I guess I have a family, like, or parents.
like,
I guess
how would I be here if I didn't?
yeah. So I guess he doesn't
Test
know
tube.
how to interact with them exactly.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Test tube.
Yeah. But anyway, so then all of a sudden, Mitsuki's just coming over to dinner to the Uzumaki house, and so yeah, he's just showing up, and then Baruto's mom, Himawari, they're all there, and they're like making like an extra nice meal, and because they have company, and then I thought it was funny because then Hinata, there we go. Okay, I didn't want to say it wrong. Hinata actually says that Naruto's coming home early from work for dinner, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna actually happen in this episode. Like, just give us more reasons why to hate Naruto as a dad. And then then
clearly Baruto's kind of like, oh really? Oh okay. Like
yeah, he's
he
like
didn't care, but he's also kind of mad about it.
yeah,
in a way.
he's kind of almost like, I'll believe it when I see it, and if I see it, I mean, he doesn't really come home anyways.
It's kind of like that
kinda
one
like that
where he was
vibe.
like that teenager who was like, it was almost felt like gave the vibe like, oh, he deep down was excited that it was going to happen, but he didn't want anyone to know about it, or maybe he just didn't want to be disappointed by it. So
I think
was
that's
like,
it.
Yeah, and so he was just like, oh no, whatever, I'll believe it later, but like was just trying to like cover everything up,
Yep. But then Mitsuki's asking like, your dad's a Hokage, right? And then kind of to start they start a tangent, and they go up to Baruto's room, and of course there's like 3 pictures of like Naruto hanging out with his family, and then so Mitsuki kind of starts like almost a description of. It almost sounds like he like read like off a sheet of paper,
like all of his accomplishments.
Yes,
Lord Seventh, the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf.
Yeah,
savior of the great warrior and savior of the of the 4th Great Ninja War, who possesses immense chakra and might be the strongest of all the 5 guys. It was like very weird for just
that was
sitting there talking.
Strangely like exactly on point, by the way, for us not writing that down.
That was pretty close.
That was actually like, I felt like I was just listening to the episode there.
It was a little awkward just for someone to just go through talking to like someone's son about their father, like very awkwardly.
Yep. And then right after he says all his accomplishments, I'm like trying to move on to the next word too fast. Boruto just says, "Yeah, well, he's a good for nothing dad."
He's like, he got nothing.
Yep. I mean, and then he basically starts saying like, ever since he became the Hokage, like he kind of left. They're like he's not there. So apparently, Boruto, Himawari were there when he wasn't the Hokage. So it must actually, there's like it was one of the last episodes or something where he's like in Hokage training basically while Kakashi Sensei was Hokage. So they're basically like, Naruto's not ready. I know he just won this war, but he's not ready. And he basically had to train for a long time. And so this must have been a long time if like Boruto was born, Himawari was born, but he was basically saying like, oh yeah, he was 100% like always there for us. So he was a great dad. And then he took the Jamas.
Or was he just a kid and just can't remember?
Doesn't know. But
we'll hope he was a great dad at some point.
Yeah, we'll hope.
I don't know.
Like,
is it worse if he was a great dad and then became a crappy dad, or if he just wasn't that great to begin with?
I think at least if he was at one point, because then Boruto could maybe be like, it's the job, it's not Naruto.
Okay, I can see that.
Maybe. I guess I can say that. I don't know. But so then he's just kind of says that, and like he was a good dad, but it's now Hokage this, Hokage that, and now I can't be with my family, and now it's all the sacrifices. And then out of the blue, I guess it's just Mitsuki trying to figure out how everyone feels this episode. He basically said, "Do you like or hate your dad?" Which is that's a extreme to an extreme, and then we kind of see like Boruto just kind of glancing off, thinking about it. And then, dinner's ready. And he was like, I don't want to answer. So he just leaves. So we're kind of like, oh, does he hate his dad? Like at this point? Maybe he doesn't. We're kind of hoping like you were saying, like he's just like disappointed all the time because his dad like it shows up empty handed or like isn't there. But anyway, so no answer from Boruto then. Then it's dinner time, and then Mitsuki actually goes and looks at the spread. It's like a normal, like actually very nice, like spread of food.
Very well done meal.
And Mitsuki, like not knowing like social situations, just says like, "Wow, I'm surprised it's not like burgers and like all this unhealthy food because that's all you eat."
That's all I ever see you eat.
Yeah, that's all I ever see you eat. So I didn't think you could actually like have a good home meal dinner, and then like. Boruto like yells like, "Shut up!
Don't say that in front of my mom. She doesn't know."
Yeah, aka like he's spending all of his like allowance money on like bad food, and his mom doesn't know. So he's like, "Shh, be quiet.
Keep that under wraps, man."
Yep. And then so Naruto actually shows up. He walks through the door. I honestly thought that because you just saw this empty seat when they all got to the table, and I was like. It's going to be like an empty seat, and they're going to like flash through dinner. He's going to be like, yep, look, he didn't show up again. I thought that's what they were going to do. But Naruto actually shows up.
He does.
So I was super surprised about that. And then I was like, hey, maybe this is a good thing. Yes. And then, go ahead.
There's a little spot that we kind of like jump over. So, like, I mean, they end up actually sitting there and talking for dinner, and Naruto introduced himself to Mitsuki, and you can tell like Mitsuki's kind of like very interested in the Hokage and talking about him. And the thing that like caught my attention is he said a very specific thing while talking to Naruto. He goes, "Oh, Lord Hokage, my parent has told me a lot about you." Very specifically said parent, not parents, my parent.
You're right.
Which is very weird because one, calling it parent, two, like usually if that was the case, you'd be like, my dad has told me a lot about you, or my mom has told me a lot about you. But specifically say my parent. It's very weird.
Yeah, and that's where with the whole test tube thing, and later in the episode, that's where I'm kind of thinking like, because he says parent, all these awkward things. It seems like he doesn't actually have like a normal family. So it's like he's pale as paper, and he has like a lot of the same like genome, I feel like, as like Orochimaru, because he can do all the same stuff. Is he like a clone of Orochimaru, basically?
I think he's something like that. I think he's something that's made out of his DNA in some way or another.
Yeah. And then, well, I guess we can think of like the first Hokage's like the cells, the you know, what everything. It's all crazy. You know, that's how they gave Naruto an extra arm and all that. Well, I'm pretty sure Orochimaru had access to all that stuff, right? Because he made a lot of stuff off of that, I think.
I don't know if he had necessarily had access to the Hashirama
cell.
I know he was doing a lot of the scientific stuff. I mean, he was mostly interested in like doing the
forbidden
ways
jutsus.
to forbidden jutsus, ways to achieve immortality. You know, he's kind of pulling the whole Voldemort route.
Yeah,
that was his goal.
Yeah, but I'm thinking with like all that kind of stuff, and then the white Zetsu, all that kind of stuff, and it's always like pale when it's like not real. I feel like that's what usually the show tells us. It's like, you know, when it's like a false representation, they're just pale, lifeless. So I almost feel like, yeah,
something like that.
He is like a test tube baby. Orochimaru made him, and that's his parent, not his dad, not his mom. And, you know, somehow, like, he made a human being. Because I don't think that's really, like, happened full on before.
I mean, he was doing some weird stuff beforehand, like,
yeah,
with a lot of the weird stuff that he was doing. So, I mean, I don't know if he just, because, like, he's not the same, he doesn't look exactly like Orochimaru did, obviously, because he doesn't have, like, the dark hair. But he's got a lot of very similar characteristics. So I'm like, I don't know if he, like, just took some of his DNA and mixed it in with some of the, because, I mean, he collected, so many powerful ninja, and he wanted to get all kinds of stuff because he wanted to achieve, like, the perfect body to live forever in, and to like have to master all the jutsu in the world. And so like I remember like he collected a lot, so he probably has DNA from millions of ninjas. So I don't know if maybe he like took some of his favorite ones and like created something.
That's true.
Like, I don't know.
And and of course like the Leaf Village is allowing this because at the end of Naruto Shippuden, they are allowing like Orochimaru to live because he kind of like turned leaves with watching Sasuke and all that kind of stuff. But he's like under surveillance from what's his name? The Wood
Captain
Cell.
Yamato.
Yeah, Captain Yamato. So they're saying like, hey, you know, we're gonna give you a second chance, but obviously you're so dangerous. If you ever change, you could destroy everything. So
I don't even remotely understand how they give him a second shot. Like, he killed the third Hokage, brought back the first and second Hokage to kill the third Hokage. Didn't he killed no, he's not the one that killed the sage or the toad sage. But like he killed so many people.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll give you a second chance.
And then his jutsu brought back it wasn't him that did it. It was the guy who can't remember his name. But his jutsu, like that the resurrection jutsu thing, was who brought back the big guy from Jeez, I can't remember his name now. The Uchiha M. I mean, I'm so mad because it's like one of the main characters. Madara Uchiha.
Right,
Madara Uchiha. I remembered it. Anyway, so we're only one down. But Madara Uchiha, because he was brought back, that's what kind of like spiraled everything down. Then he like basically was able to bring himself back to life and then finish everything. Then he got killed, you know, like from Shippuden. So there's a lot that he's had a lot of consequences on the world. Like, you know,
this guy, like 100% life sentence minimum kind of situation. Like,
so I guess that's maybe he is under prison, but it's like what prison can hold him. So let him do its thing under surveillance.
Yeah, I still wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, I don't know.
No way.
But we have to know that Naruto knows. I mean, he was just face up with him, hidden sound. He knows what that is. So he must be allowing something right now. And if he's allowing it, so I was getting to his whole point because we were talking about like the perfect body, and you could almost think like, oh, did he like, instead of finding a person, perfect body, because he found Sasuke, so he's trying to use him as his perfect body. He didn't make one, so maybe he made a perfect body to jump into. But then it's like Naruto wouldn't let that happen, and he knows the situation because he allowed the transfer. So it's almost like I think Naruto knows something that we don't know yet.
Could be,
but yeah. So we don't really know who Mitsuki is, but pretty sure he's either like was grabbed as a child and did stuff with, or he was just 100% made.
Yep.
And my feeling is like, if he's under surveillance, Naruto knows about all this. I don't think he was kidnapped as a baby.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So, and then he doesn't have parents. So either he's an orphan that was dying and got saved by jutsu, or he was man-made. I'm going to go with man-made.
More than likely, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. Because he looked pretty young, too, in the test tube thing. Anyways, long tangent, but I think that was a big thing from this episode. So,
Agreed.
Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, Naruto's actually home, and then they're all eating and stuff, and then you see Naruto just kind of pause, and it goes and shows Naruto currently in the Hokage's office talking about that the border. Actually, let me look the barrier team has actually been seeing a strange chakra across the village. That's the same chakra with all these events. So there's something like coming in to the village, and my heart sunk because I was like, did he send a clone to family dinner? And I thought I was about to poof with like the chopsticks in his hand. And I was like,
too.
oh my gosh, I am about to, Boruto is going to flip out and I'm going to hate Naruto. But it was a clone over there that poofed away. And
So that's at least positive.
yeah, and when they poof away, they take all the information learned, because we learned that about like when he was trying to figure out the like wind style jutsu. So that's how we learned all that. So I was like, whew, he didn't send a clone to family dinner. That would have been terrible. Like that would have been awful.
Would have been.
But anyways, so then he kind of stands up and was like, something's going on right now. It's, the strange chakra. I gotta go. And then of course Boruto just flips out. So
Always
it would have
do
been
this.
worse if it was a clone.
Oh yeah.
Would have been worse.
I'm sure they wouldn't have been able to tell. I know Hinata would have been able to tell if it was clone for sure.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the others would have been able to tell.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so Boruto just flips out. Basically you always do this. Basically like, I hate that you're the Hokage, all that kind of stuff. Storms out. Naruto, looks at everybody, gotta go. And of course Hinata understands. And then so after he storms out, Mitsuki kind of goes up to Naruto and says like, hey, I'll take care of him. And he says like, I place it in your hands, Mitsuki, and walks away. So that was kind of a weird interaction.
Yeah,
like
I'll
not gonna go.
let this kid I just met potentially from the hidden sound. I'll let him take care of my son.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go calm Boruto down and be a good dad. I'm just gonna go, but I'll leave in your hands, Mitsuki. So,
but there was that little incident beforehand where he like tries to explain to Boruto like what's going on.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to understand, I'm the Hokage. Like when I became the Hokage, the whole village became my family.
Yeah.
And if anyone's in need, I need to go. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, I get you're supposed to take care of the village, but like, dude, you got to take care of your family too. Like, and you got to spend time. Like your kid hasn't seen you, and like, if your kid's like shocked that you're gonna be home for dinner, and like, you like, and he doesn't believe that you'll actually be home, it's like clearly there's a problem.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So then we get like this last scene that tells us a lot. So Mitsuki goes out to Boruto, and then, and this is where, I think I accidentally said when he was up in the bedroom, he basically is like, ever since he became the Hokage, he isn't there anymore. Hokage this, Hokage that. That's this scene. So sorry about that. But so he's just kind of rambling on about like, it's the Hokage. Then he basically says, because we kind of left the question, do you like or hate Naruto? So he doesn't say he likes or hates his dad, or he likes or hates Naruto. He says he hates the Hokage. So I think that was the show trying to say, like, he hates that his dad is in this position and who he is in this position, but he doesn't hate his dad.
Yeah. Like he's saying, like, yeah, he just wishes somebody else was a Hokage, so Naruto could be there with his family.
Yeah.
And he wants him to be done with it.
Yeah. And then, like, what's good for having the dad as the Hokage if he's never there for you? He kind of went on a little tangent to Mitsuki, just venting. And then but then Boruto basically says, like, that's why he won't abandon those around him. And then we kind of saw it through the whole episode how, like, he's being there for the people around him. It's almost like that's his ninja way, because of what Naruto's doing to him. Like, even though Naruto's there for everybody, he's not there for those right around him. So it's almost like Boruto's like, I'm not worried about what everyone else thinks. I'm worried about the people right around me. So it's almost the opposite of Naruto. He is worried about what everyone thinks, the whole village. But his family, they can be on the back burner, which is kind of sad.
It really is.
Hopefully the whole show doesn't keep it like that. Hopefully something happens. They hire like a Vice Hokage or
That's
something.
pretty much what Shikamaru is.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's what I feel like. If Shikamaru's there, shouldn't it be a little bit better? Like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
He's just the advisor, I guess. But then, so that's basically, Boruto saying, like, he won't abandon those around him. And then we get this last little bit from Mitsuki that's like a big, big thing. So Mitsuki ends up saying, I didn't know if I should tell you this, but I think I'm going to tell you now, which is just, okay.
All right.
And then he says, I know who's behind, like, the incidents, the ghost incidents. And
I see, like, the kind of, like, shocked look on Boruto's face, like, what?
yeah, doesn't tell.
You've been with me this whole time. Like, why am I not figuring
Naruto was just right there. Just telling me he'll go take care of it right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, anyway, but the show, oh, whoops, I just dropped my Apple Pencil. But then the show shows us. So he says, I know who's behind the incident. Doesn't tell us verbally, but goes to a empty hospital room with the window open and the drapes kind of flowing out the window. And that was Sumere's hospital room. So either she just got abducted.
I brought her up last episode.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Like, something's off about her. Like, in these past few episodes, something's off about her. And so we kind of see, her, either someone abducted her or it's her. And I'm pretty sure if they said, I know who it is, and this person's known their every step, all that kind of stuff.
And they know who we are. They know us. Like,
exactly.
All the dots.
And I'm trying to think, where was Sumere when all that stuff happened? Minus the one time where she was just, conveniently saved the day and was floating in the water, then went to the hospital. And that's when the ghost was getting desperate because it's getting closed in on, or the ninja controlling it. And she conveniently, is the hero. And then now in the hospital. And I'm in the hospital. It's not me. So maybe she's been using the hospital as like her, doing her operations from. But at this point in that scene, I'm pretty sure it's her.
I think that's where we're at.
But it's like, what the heck? So is she not? Are they gonna, like, kill her off? I don't feel like they're gonna do that. But that, like,
I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know what. Like, is it like she is the one doing it? Is she, like, somehow being? I mean, because we also, here's the thing that, like, kind of, like, flashback to me was, like, we specifically talked. I can't imagine there's any reason, like, if she's the one that's behind it, then that there wasn't any particular reason why we talked about her family and Mitsuki's family.
They're introducing
which
that.
makes, like, they kind of brought that up, kind of like a little bit of a foreshadowing moment. Like, so is it something to do with her family? Like, did her? I don't know. Like, it just feels like there's something weird going on. Like, I don't know if she's like, but they said her family's dead, so it just can't be like she's being manipulated.
Yep. And at the beginning of the episode, so Mitsuki knows who it is. He knows it's her at the beginning of the episode because he must have saw her or figured it out when he, saw her, and then she went back. So I'm guessing she is this ninja.
Maybe that's why, like, when he showed up to the hospital, she specifically goes, "Wait, are you here alone?" Like, did she think that he was coming to confront her?
Yeah, because they had that moment already. And just wouldn't that be weird if she does know that? Then he's like, "What do you think about Baruto?"
Yeah,
like
that's strange.
I guess you don't care at all that I'm just stealing people's chakra. Okay, yeah, he's fun. But at the beginning of the episode, Mitsuki was saying like, "You're right. It's expected. It was the heirloom left by the Foundation, so it's still old Foundation stuff that's going on. So it's her. Her family's dead. They're pushing her family's past 2 episodes."
Is there like
Family Foundation. That's
Okay, this is just like make me go back to some kind of weird Harry Potter tangent for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like a Horcrux forcing her to do something, or like something that like possesses her and makes her do weird things.
There is this big weird chakra thing going on with this beast that we also saw that could be like we kind of speculate, like, is this like an evil tailed beast? And
We haven't seen it.
maybe
where,
she's
an
like
object
a
can control someone or
evil,
something, right? Like,
evil Jinchuriki.
maybe.
I don't know.
I'm curious, but I don't know.
So
Like,
Foundation died out. And if she's the same age as like Baruto and them, it was done before she was born.
right, should have been.
So right. So I'm trying to think like, were they like doing something weird with like trying to like put something inside a little kid? Because I mean Naruto was put inside. He was a baby when they put Nine Tails inside of him. So did they put a like beast inside of? But then her parents are dead. I don't know. It's really weird. But yep. So we kind of know that Mitsuki. Yeah, we had another scene too where the figures got a little bit closer and like came out of the test tube, and then but the hair at the second time.
Did you hear the voices?
See, I was watching Japanese. I'm not used to the Japanese noises. Is it?
So the guy on the right was the guy that was one of
water
Sasuke's
guys?
team members.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that, with the sword and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then that was the only one that like specifically like stood out to me. Like I could 100% tell. The other one I was like, okay, that could be Orochimaru. It kind of
It
sounded
looked
like
like the hair.
Yeah, that's why I saw too. Like it seemed like it, but that voice was particularly like stood out to me. And I know that he was hanging around with Orochimaru at the end.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's definitely 100% Orochimaru.
Yeah. So maybe they let that guy live too, because he did some bad stuff with Sasuke.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen Sasuke, but we've kind of.
What if it was Sasuke?
assuming
Then he's not a science guy like all this.
Nah, it can be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I hope
That's not
not.
his deal.
I'm still waiting for Sasuke. I'm really mad that we haven't seen him yet.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him.
We better. That'd be really depressing.
yeah.
I might cancel this podcast if I don't see him. I'll be very sad.
Yep.
Granted, I have to get through like 200 episodes before I just walk out. But
Yeah.
it'd be like 208 episodes on 207 Sasuke shows up.
That'd be terrible.
That would be awful.
What kept you so long, Lord Hokage? You don't have much time left at this point.
All right, guys. So that was episode 12, and actually gave us like a lot of answers that were like, I did not see Sumire, the class rep, being the person behind all this. Not at the beginning, at least.
Yeah, definitely not. Like I had that thought, but I thought I was completely wrong at the end of last week. Honestly, like I was like, well, she's the only one that's not there. But I was like, nah, that makes no sense. There's no way. Apparently, there's a way.
Yep. So I'm guessing that the whole like incident at the water plant was a like diversion in order for her to get in the hospital. Or maybe because
she just felt like
Naruto
she
was coming.
cornered. Yeah.
Yes, that actually, because Naruto showed up and saved the day. Maybe it was happening so quick that she was like, "Oh crap!" Throws off the cloak, punches herself in the face or something. Goes and like lets them find her like that. Because who's gonna think it's her? Not many people are gonna think like
A first-year academy student,
Right.
Why would they?
Exactly.
Why would they assume that?
yeah. And
How does she even have the power to do that?
Yeah.
Makes
So
no sense.
the only power. Kabuto. Yes, we didn't forget.
Yes.
No names were harmed in this filming of Catching Up with Boruto.
How did I not remember? That's literally a
Kabuto.
Pokemon name.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, so we actually had we've had one review with an actual comment. So remember, guys, when you leave an Apple Podcast review, leave a comment so we see your name and tell us something, and we'll read it off. But anyways, here we go. So this This is a long name, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. We're just going to call you Cubone.
She gives a number, or I've named him or her. I can't really tell.
I don't know.
Give us a
It's
name in the middle.
Cubone. Oh, is it in?
They give us a name in there.
Okay. Oh, Caroline.
Yeah. So,
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for reminding me of that, because that would have been a really long name and a lot of wasted time like I'm doing right now. Anyways, so this is from Carolyn, and this is what you say. Well, first of all, thank you, Carolyn.
Very much. Thank
yes,
you.
this is a shout out for you. We've never done this before. We don't know
Go,
what we're
Carolyn.
doing. Yes, I was actually thinking about getting the hi-yahs and putting them as this little button right here, but I didn't have time to do it. Anyways,
Well, then, hiya!
yeah, there we go. I'll let you do it. So here we go. She says, love it. Also, it's funny when the creators leave their own reviews. So yeah, I think we do that quite a bit. To make it easy for you, the name is Carolyn. You can't remember I can't even remember the full name I use on here. Yeah, it's very long. It's like Cubone and Nadu Trainer or something else. I am actually trying to finish up Shippuden. And in the middle. Oh my goodness, I'm messing up this so much. I'm in the middle of the 4th Ninja War. I'm doing it so you can get to Boruto. You watch the first episode when it was initially released in the U.S. and you feel like you had to finish Shippuden because you're missing some things. Yes, you definitely gotta finish
Very
Shippuden.
important, very
You're gonna miss a lot. They don't like, oh, it's a whole new show. No, you gotta know. And they'll do like filler stuff, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. But anyway, so you watched the first episode when it was initial. Oh, I already said that. But it's nice to have a podcast that covers it and you enjoy hearing. Thank you. I hope this voice is very nice to hear.
Very nice and relaxing. Chill.
I almost started going
Calm.
left and right like ASMR or something. But only one of the Boruto-centered podcasts you can find so far, and that's actually why we made it. Because I was already like getting into podcasting. Was trying to find a Boruto podcast that was current. Nothing was current. Everything had been stopped like years ago. The show's still going, and it was like an anime this, and they included Boruto or Naruto this, and talk about Boruto every now and then. I was like, there's nothing, just Boruto. What the heck? And then so I was like, we're gonna make a Boruto podcast, but we're way behind. What should be the name? I don't know. We got catch up. Oh, we should catching up with Boruto. Boom. There you go.
This is all Johnny's idea, by the way.
Yes, but I can't do it by myself.
Might be a little awkward.
And I still had to ask, like, is this a good? Because I made a lot of like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that from other people. Can I let me know? But anyways, team effort. But keep making episodes, you say. And don't go political like everyone else is doing. It takes away from the focus of the podcast. Winky face. We will not go political because
Unless there's an election about who's going to be the next Hokage, then we might get a little political.
Yes, we will get political. And we might have different sides to that. Sasuke as Hokage or Naruto as Hokage. Would Sasuke actually get more done and be there for his family?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't be there for his family. There's no way. He doesn't care enough.
I don't know.
But he'd be a better Hokage.
With him and like Sakura and like him finally breaking down and like, yeah, you've always been there for me and falling in love with her. I don't know.
I don't think he would.
Would he get the work done faster?
Probably.
Yeah.
But if he comes in here and he's like this super like lovey, like if they come up with a position like when he does come into the show, if all of a sudden we get the same spin that we get with Grandpa, you know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah. Sorry.
Come see your father. I love you so much. Give me hugs. No, I would be so disappointed. That would not be Sasuke at all.
Well, that's not him at all. I can see him
wasn't
trying that kind of stuff. But yeah, we haven't really got anything from Sarada saying like, oh yeah, my dad has been here in a while or nothing like that. So we don't even know. They're keeping us in the dark on purpose. But if this big thing is about to happen and he doesn't show up, I'm going to be kind of like, I don't know what's going on. Because I feel like, if anything, he's like a secret weapon, for the Leaf.
Should be.
But anyway, so, yeah. But don't get political like everybody else. I'll just tell you straight up, Trey and I don't like politics stuff. Yeah, I hate it. I'm not for anybody because at the end of the day, I always feel like, I don't know, it's kind of murky in both sides. And I'll like right before I go vote, research. Okay,
This
do
sounds
it.
a little political.
It does sound political. Dang it. But no, don't worry. We don't really care about that stuff.
Nah,
So
we're good.
I literally give it one day of thought, and then I don't think about it the rest of the year or 4 years. But anyways, that was episode 12. And thank you a lot, Carolyn, for leaving that. We're going to shout you out like 5 times because you're so awesome.
Yeah.
Make sure if you're listening to this episode, because we know you guys are listening. I can see the stats, and it's super encouraging to see that. But also interact with us because we really want to do that.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, leave us that 5-star review. Go on YouTube and sub to our YouTube channel because I do actually like go
subscribers.
and edit that and spend time on it because we're like recording this right now and it looks really good. But you know, I don't know. I guess like we're not doing it right with the algorithms with like our episodes and all. But if you're listening right here,
Hey,
and
we're happy with it.
yeah. And then also go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Maybe give us a few likes, comment on there. We'll comment back with you. I'm really good about YouTube comments and all that. Yeah, make sure to do that. Give us some love there. Maybe it'll help some people who don't listen to podcasts, but maybe do video podcasts. Maybe it'll help them get used to it or something. And of course, on Instagram, we're going to be trying to do some random things on there now, not just the episodes. But yeah, and wherever you listen to podcasts, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere. I mean, there's like 12 different places I could spend all day here. iHeartRadio, it's crazy how many
Everywhere.
things we get published to. But yeah, make sure to show us some love because that really helps us to like have more motivation to keep doing this. And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Trey, any final thoughts?
Well, I think we got one in particular. That is.
Better late than never. That's our ninja way. See you guys.
See ya.
I'm really looking forward to our thumbnail, by the way. I keep thinking about that.
It's gonna be a little weird. I can't remember what face I did. I think I just gave it a weird glare.
Yeah. Every now and then I try to make one of us look awkward. All right, see you guys.
Bye.